Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the public participation portion of the Common Council meeting of December 14, 2022. The time is now 7:00 p.m. The first one signed up to speak is our City Treasurer, Daniel Salerno. Please state your name and address for the record, and limit your time to 3 minutes. That's 3.
Thank you, Mr. Majority Leader. Daniel Salerno, 80 Jones Drive, New Britain, Connecticut. 9 years ago, after my first year on the council, I reflected on that today because of the holidays, and I hope that everything I say really comes from the heart. I remember thinking about that first year, how much I had learned, how little I really knew till I got there. And I want to present that as members of this council who have had a very difficult, complex, and successful year. That there are some of you who have been here for the first time, and I hope that your reflections are the same. How much you may have known coming in and how much more you know because of that year of time, and how much time you've put into it. It's only halfway through that first term for some. And then there are the knowledgeable, seasoned ones as I look aboard, some of whom have been longer than I was, as Alderman Pabon, and as long as I had been at that point, the President Pro Tempore, Smedley. You bring great wisdom, all of you, to this body. The next year is going to be complex. It's going to be interesting, and it can be difficult. But it's important to know that halfway through your first term for some of you, the next half is just the beginning of the future for every one of you. I really appreciate what you do because I understand what you do. And the city needs to appreciate what you do and the time you put in. It's the unsung heroes, the people who go to meetings and go to all the sessions and go to all the various activities in the community. And I watch from a distance these days and appreciate both that opportunity and that responsibility that you have shown. So on that note, I just wanted to share that you're well received by many people in the community, and what you do is worthwhile, and what you do is heartfelt. And on that note, I want to wish all of you a very, very happy and Merry Christmas and New Year, and all the other holidays that are celebrated for you and your families. On behalf of the city, certainly appreciate you. Thank you very much.
Thank you. That was very nice. Much appreciated. There is no one else signed up on the list. Would anyone, public? Well, please approach the podium and state your name and address for the record, and limit your time to 3 minutes, please.
Oh, absolutely. Should we do Mr. Salina or no? Yeah. Oh, okay. How are you doing, everybody? Jeff Corp, 47 Commonwealth Avenue. Do you need anything more? New Britain, Connecticut?
No, that's fine.
I just was here. This is my first time I've ever been to City Council. Just had some questions about, or not questions. I just wanted to say that I really hope that we get the mill rate lowered. I bought a house. Me and my wife are very low income people. She's trying to become a published author. She just got her first short story published. I'm a house painter and a tennis coach. But anyhow, we're low income. We love our neighborhood. This is it's a great city if you're not making a lot of money. I love this town. But the increase in our property value, since we're never looking to move, it's not putting any new money into my pocket. So I hope my taxes stay approximately where they are. The only real increase in our property value is what I put into the house: new roof, new furnace, new siding, anything like that. The fact that a bubble, or what I believe to be a property bubble, is now affecting my home value and increasing my property, my taxes. Like I said, I have no new income coming into my pocket, so I hope my taxes stay approximately where they are. I understand that they're going to increase a little bit because I have made improvements. But I'm just worried that if there's major tax increases everywhere due to property value, that this could cause blight, and people that are barely hanging on, living here now, will have to find somewhere new to live. Of course, you know, it's just it's a reaction effect. It's a whatever effect. I'm losing the words right now. But I'm worried about people leaving this town, people who own property that are renting it, not being able to find new people to come in because their taxes are higher. They got to reflect that into rents, yada, yada. And the only other thing that I wanted to talk about a little bit is the fact that we voted on a new town manager. And I not that I'm for or against it. I actually didn't vote. I just didn't feel like I had enough information. And I wish that more of that was given to me beforehand. Like it was kind of I found out a week beforehand. I didn't know how much he would be making, how much, you know, from our tax money. I don't know how his job differs from the mayor's. I don't know why it's necessary. All these things, I couldn't make an informed opinion to vote on, and I feel like a lot of people didn't have an informed opinion to vote on. So it's kind of a vote, but who knows whether we need one or not. I feel like just you guys know more about what's going in the town than any of us. I work every day. You know, I don't follow exactly what's going on. So that's all I want to say. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Was it Cook? Mr. Cook? Corp. Thank you. Anyone else wish to speak before the council? Second time, anyone wish to speak before the council? Third and final time, anyone else wish to speak before the council? Seeing none, public participation is now closed at 7:07. Any council members wish to address?
It's will be a hardship. Mine would be will increase from 6,200 to 9,000 if the same mill rate stays. And I figured out that for mine to stay the same amount of money, the mill rate will have to go down to 34. So I've heard that there is a prior time that this happened in early 2000s, when the mill rate, when the valuation went up high, and in fact the Common Council went through and lowered it very significantly. So I hope my colleagues are listening to the speaker and many other people I've talked to in New Britain that are really worried. People on pension, people on Social Security, renters, all of them are worried that the increase will make their life here unaffordable, and it might be a disaster for our city. So I agree with the speaker, and we're looking next year. I mean, this is a whole process. The mill rate decision will only come at the end of the budget, which is about June. And so the whole decision about the mill rate is linked to the budget, and that's where the second part of what the speaker talked about, city manager. I think the calculations ran from 150 to 200,000 to maybe $500,000 to pay for a city manager, for the salary and benefits and staff, car and everything. And I think we can't afford it, especially looking at the mill rate, at the evaluation and the hardship that our residents will. So I urge the mayor and the Common Council not to appoint. Even though it appears there, we can keep it vacant. So that's another element of this. And lastly, I think today we are voting on another deal for a developer. And in that deal, same as before, they're limiting the valuation to 2% for the next 26 years. So every 5 years, we might get a 50% or whatever, but those developers will get only 2%. And I think that's not right. That's inequality. Those who have millionaires and billionaires should pay their share of the valuation. So thank you for bringing it up, and I hope you will hear from many other people about this issue. Thank you.
Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Alderman. Alderman Smedley?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Thank you to the gentleman who did bring that up. We are obviously going to do the best that we can to lower it. In 2007, when this happened, the city did have to lower the mill rate by approximately 10 mills to bring everybody back into the range where they were. Obviously, like you said, the tax rate is going to increase a little bit once that balance is worked out by our finance department and our city assessor and things like that. But we are going to look at adjusting the mill rate and do the best that we can for our residents, because we too up here on the council are affected by it. My property value also doubled. So you have our word that we are going to work on that. And related to the city management position, the job description is still being designed by the Civil Service Commission and by the HR department. The position is not going to include all of a city vehicle and staff and everything like that. It's a one-person position that will be responsible for the duties as designed by the Civil Service, the Mayor's office, and HR. So just wanted to clear that up as well. Thank you.
Thank you. Alderman Cigar?
Hello, everybody. I just want to say second what the minority leader said, Alderman Smedley. This subject is something that people talk to me all the time, and the gentleman really addressed the specific thing about it, that just because somebody paid a lot of money for some property here in New Britain, then that means, that you will have to pay a lot of taxes, even though your salary stays the same, even lower. If you're going to sell your house, maybe, yeah, that's great, but if you're going to live here, like all of us, are going to do, a tax increase does not make sense. And myself, if I vote for a tax increase, I don't deserve to be here. And hopefully everyone here thinks the same, at least in this instance, because we're here to help our citizens, our voters, and the increases that we have been getting is crazy. It should be revenue neutral. Thank you.
Thank you, Alderman. Alderwoman Costa?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Mr. Corp, thank you for coming in tonight. We appreciate when the public comes in to talk to us and share their concerns. So a couple of things. We try to limit misinformation coming out of this council. You're going to hear a lot of things. There are a lot of narratives being spread because fear perpetuates that. There are going to be a lot of conversations about our budget over the next 6 months. I encourage you to participate in those conversations. Come in. There are public participation events that will occur. One of the things that I've heard a lot actually recently is folks not having access to information, not feeling fully informed. So I just want to share that social media is a great place to get information. Facebook pages, the Downtown District, the Mayor's page, there's a New Britain City page. It's a great place to get information, and many of the departments here have also their own social media pages. So that's a great place to find information. Jessica Giarratana is Superwoman, and she makes sure most of the time that every event that's happening in the city is updated on our website. We have a calendar, and so you can see typically everything in the calendar that's going on. So there are a number of committee and commission meetings that help us socialize information outside of council meetings. They occur every week. They're varying days of the week, and I work full-time too. I get it. We've got limited time to get to all of these things. It's my responsibility to come to those things on your behalf if you can't be there. So I'm going to share my contact information with you, but all of our contact information is available on our website. You can reach out to any of us anytime, and we'll help to fill in the blanks for you. The town manager position is not fully baked. It's a valuable, there are differing opinions, it's a valuable position. The financial burden is very small. None of us are interested in increasing, our tax responsibility. I own a home. I actually live in a neighborhood near you. So I may walk over and visit. But it's really, we are really grateful that you've come in tonight to talk to us. It's valuable to hear from you. And, if I could ask anything of you is just encourage folks to come in. And I'll do my best to stay in touch with you to keep you informed about when commission meetings are, when committee meetings are, when this transfer of information can happen so that you are always fully informed. And I would ask you too to let me know if there's a better way to get you the information. So we've got social media sites, we've got a website, we have meetings. We're always evolving. There's always a better way to do something. So please, reach out to us, and I'll make sure that I stay in touch with you to make sure that you're fully informed and that you have all the information you need as well. And the mill rate is still being discussed. We are all in the same place with you, fully aware. And Mr. Salerno, your wisdom is always welcome. We're always grateful for your comments and your thoughts. It's been an extraordinary year, and many of us appreciate your mentorship throughout. So thank you very much for your words and your kindness. And Merry Christmas to you too. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else? Just real quick too, thank you very much to our treasurer, Dan Salerno, for the respectful words. We certainly do appreciate it. It's always a challenging time to sit here and be throwing a lot of different things at us, but it's always nice to be able to fall back on certain people to ask opinions, et cetera. And for Mr. Corp and anyone else that's listening in, again, this was a state of Connecticut mandated reevaluation. It's not that something New Britain just arbitrarily wanted to do to raise taxes. So, and please, yeah, I've got 2 properties in New Britain. Don't try to calculate your taxes with the current mill rate based on what your new evaluation is going to be. We are going to be working on a mill rate. So, but as Alderman Ayalon said, it really won't come forth until probably budget time, which would be early summer, late spring. So, but thank you for coming in and speaking. So nothing else. The mayor will be here shortly to start the regular meeting. Thank you.
my binder is quite large tonight. There we go. Thank you. Thank you, IT. All right. I would like to call to order this regular meeting of the New Britain Common Council. The date is Wednesday, December 14th. The time is 7:24 p.m. Mr. Clerk, will you please call the roll?
Alderpersons Dyson. Here. Ayalon. Here. Catanzaro. Excuse. Costa.
Here.
Hargraves.
Excuse.
Malinowski. Here. Ortiz Luna.
Excuse.
Pabon. Here. Russell.
Excuse.
Witkowski.
Here.
Sanchez.
Excuse.
Skirpo.
Here.
Segura. Thompson.
Present.
Smedley.
Here.
10 present. We have a quorum, Your Honor.
All right, lots of Christmas concerts tonight. Can we all please rise for the invocation, which will be followed by the Pledge of Allegiance?
Let us pray. O God, our Heavenly Father, today is the 10-year anniversary of the tragedy in Sandy Hook. Look down on those families who are still hurting from the loss of a loved one. This is the time of year where we make lifetime memories with our family and people with whom we share the Christmas and holiday season with. Thank you for these loved ones and the friendships we have made over the years. We ask this in thy name, amen.
Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Alderman Ayalon.
To stand up and have a minute of silence in memory of the Sandy Hook victims. And we all mourn them. We all one family, especially in Connecticut. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you. And as a reminder of our gratefulness for the Anna Grace Project, I just want to remind everybody of the toy drive that we have going on, the Love Wins Toy Drive, that we are still accepting donations for to give to our New Britain families in need. That was so graciously started by the family of Miss Anna Grace Marquez Green, and her family and her mom have been so supportive of the city of New Britain in a multitude of ways with supporting our children through their generosity. And we're going to be able to provide for a lot of children in need this holiday season because of that, and we're very grateful. To start off this evening, before we get into the regular meeting, we do have a presentation, and I believe Freddie is here, and Rebecca Gonzalez from the school district. I'm going to call them up. I don't think Superintendent Gasper, hi, just hi, and Mr. Salina is going to give a brief introduction and an update on the Holmes Elementary School project, which is coming down the pipeline, but there's been some changes.
Let's see, which way do we, okay, we turn it this way. So they can see it.
There you go.
Everything's reversed.
Thank you, Hannah.
Yep. Okay, yes, we understand this is a very full agenda tonight, so the purpose of our presentation is simply to, stick our toe in the water and to let you know that this is the next school project, if everything works out and if everyone is in agreement. This is the one that is planned for the total renovation of Holmes School. We were just at Chamberlain today, and they are right on target. Furniture will be moved in January, and that school will be completed and turned over to the city within the next month or two. So that project was on time, is under budget, and we're very pleased with the entire outcome. Looking forward to homes, I just want to show you a little bit of what will occur. I have to have a longer arm. The old school continued over through here. The current school is a one-floor school. We cover the grades 2, 3, 4, and 5. This will also better increase the parking area for this. And as we've always had problems with busing and cars, as our schools, this school was built in 1956 with an addition in 1997, but all of our schools were walking schools. School buses did not appear in New Britain until 1972. So traffic has always been a problem because of our landlocked schools. So as we renovate each new school, we are very concerned with separating bus traffic from parent traffic. And you'll see that there's a bus loop all around the school to keep the buses away from the pedestrian traffic as well as the parent traffic. And beyond that, it'll be a totally modern with air conditioning and new HVAC and so forth. So I just wanted to give you a visual, and Rebecca will just give you a couple of points as to the price change from what was originally planned at one point.
Oh, sure, you give her the tough part, huh?
Thank you, Paul. Thank you, Paul. Good evening, everyone. Thank you for having me. As Paul mentioned, we're nearing the end of Chamberlain, and we are very excited to start focusing some of our energies on homes, because if we move forward, the grant app is due June 2023, so we have some work to do ahead of us. We do have the feasibility study we've provided for your review in the hopes that we are able to present a fuller presentation on the project in the next coming Common Council meeting. We also have ed specifications that were recently altered once we appointed a new superintendent, Dr. Gasper. We met as a community as well as the school community, and we made some changes, including a family resource center to the education specifications, and those were approved. But today I want to speak a little bit about the projections that we have. I think you may have a copy in front of you. We are seeing changes to the cost of the $55 million to $64,914,472, and this is mainly driven because of inflation and changes to material costs and also bonding cost. So this is what you're seeing in front of you. We are hoping again that this is reviewed, and if you have any questions regarding the costs, that we can certainly answer some questions if you have those.
Alderman Ayalon.
Hello.
Hi.
I noticed something interesting here at the bottom with the photovoltaic power and geothermal and the generator. Can you elaborate on that?
Yeah, the actual costs, 64,914, are not inclusive of those numbers. If we wanted to add, that would increase the price of the 64,914.
So will the photovoltaic power and the geothermal, will they cover all the electric needs, all the power needs of the school?
No.
What percentage,
When,
you know?
when you're asking electric needs or
Power
do
needs.
you want to specify?
Oh, okay, maybe somebody else.
This is the architect.
Okay.
Hi, Freddie.
Hi, I'm Freddie Karicha from KBA, and the photovoltaic is a budget we have put into it. It depends on how much we can accommodate it based on the sunlight, so
Okay.
we are trying and capture maximum what we can, but we will not know till the design is complete that how much we can do that with photovoltaic.
Okay, so these are solar panels?
Yes,
and,
they are solar panels.
And are you planning to do the geothermal as well?
Geothermal is something, if it's up to the council, that if they want to approve the funds beyond, we can make it as an all, because it would involve complete different design of the systems.
Do you know how
So
much,
we can do that.
do you know if when you drill, how deep is it to get the,
We will not know that
don't wanna-
till we get a geothermal and they do the borings to figure it out where it is and how much, because the site is so small, depending on how much can we capture it.
one last question about this aspect. Is the state of Connecticut, I know they're promoting alternative power, and will they subsidize this or provide any contribution in addition to what, I know that we are very generous here with 95%, I believe that the state is covering. Will they also, in their programs, or that support that as well?
They don't support it with the program. It's up to the individual district to go and pursue it and get money for the reimbursements.
All right, thank you.
Yeah, it's a different application.
But they don't get involved in it.
Alderman Dyson?
Thank you. On the same, sorry, on that same 175 tons of heating, cooling, what do you would estimate the building?
This is just, our engineer has come up with a number into it. Again, when we design it, we'll know exactly what capacity we can do it.
Okay.
Right now, it's just a number, a placeholder, and so this is what we can do. When we can do it more or less, we will not know.
Okay. I think it's worth exploring that option.
Well,
Absolutely.
we will, but
Yeah.
till we start designing it.
Okay, thank you.
I should add that the reason why they are here tonight to give you this change in cost estimate is because this council has not bonded the dollars to even theoretically start the project. So these are all conceptuals. But the reason why we needed to come forward and have this conversation is that what was originally proposed to this body has certainly increased substantially given the length of time that has gone on. So it is up to this body as we enter into the budget process to take this on as we talk about special meetings for bonding subcommittees. And as Rebecca is working tirelessly to try to get our outstanding reimbursements from Smalley, Gaffney, and there's an excess of $30 million that's out there. That we are still waiting on reimbursements for. We are hopeful that the team will be able to secure that and get our money back in enough time so that it allows us to pursue this project and not be very burdensome on the city's bottom line for our bonded indebtedness. Alderman Smedley.
Thank you, Your Honor. Thank you, guys. As you all know, I am also on this team when I'm wearing my work cap, but tonight I'm on the other side of the desk. But I just want to say that from the school district point of my work, the energy alternatives are an important part of this project. And when you review that ed spec that we emailed a link to, it's 178 pages worth, you'll see that in the construction planning, the building has to be LEED certified. So it has to be an energy efficient building to begin with. We're not just building a square box with fluorescent lights and excess heat and air conditioning. So everything will have VFD drives and LED lights and you know, perfect envelope enclosure for the building, whole 9 yards. We're going to really try for the solar panel installation and the generator installation. Geothermal is tough in this area because the amount of ledge that exists on the hill there. So we'll be working to get at least 2 of these within the project, hopefully at the end game. So, thank you.
Thank you. Any other questions or comments? Any closing thoughts, Mr. Selena?
Everyone have a wonderful holiday.
Rebecca, Freddie, Paul, thank you.
Thank you.
Well,
Thank you.
Merry Christmas to all.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas, happy holidays.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys, and thank you to Dr. Gasper and very important school building member Tim Stewart for being here tonight. Alderman Ayalon.
One more thing to mention about the, this building also is that I want to thank our delegation in the state capitol, and especially Bobby Sanchez, who's the chair, or was till recently the chair of the Education Committee, and I believe got the state to pay 95% of
Great.
this, as opposed to normally it's about 80%. So I want to thank him as well.
Cool. Now we just want that other 30 million back so we can start this one. If you could relay that to them, that'd be great. Alderman Smedley.
Thank you,
Approval
Your
of the
Honor.
minutes.
I make a motion to accept the minutes of the regular meeting of November 9th, 2022.
Seconded by Alderman Dyson. Any questions or comments on that? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Alderman, are there any amendments to the everlasting
Yes,
agenda
ma'am.
tonight?
I make a motion to amend the agenda by substituting items number 1 and 28 and withdrawing item G.
Seconded by Alderman Thompson. Any questions or comments on the amendments to the agenda? Seeing and hearing none, Mr. Clerk, please call the roll.
Alderpersons Dyson.
Yes.
Ayalon.
Yes.
Costa. Malinowski. Pabon. Rutkowski.
Yes.
Skirpo. Sagara. Thompson.
Yes.
Smedley.
Yes.
10-0, Your Honor.
Motion carries. Mr. Clerk, I see 8 petitions tonight.
That is correct, Your Honor.
All right.
Rock and roll. Okay. First one is from Alderman Thompson for the appropriate departments to install no parking from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. signs on the north side of Concord Street from Concord Court to 22 Concord Street due to the cars parking on both sides of the street, restricting access for emergency vehicles.
Send that to the Police Commission, please.
Okay, this one is signed by Alderman Smedley, but sponsored by Alderman Russell for the appropriate departments to petition the state of Connecticut to address issues at the intersection of West Main Street and Corbin Avenue.
Police Commission.
Number 3 is from Alderman Thompson for the appropriate departments to update the stop sign on Alexander Road at the Stanley Street extension to include warning information that the intersection is not a four-way intersection.
Public Works Department.
Number 4, signed by Alderman Smedley. Petitioner is Alderman Hargraves for the appropriate departments to install stop signs at the corner of Mansfield Avenue and Rocky Hill Avenue and Landers Avenue and Rocky Hill Avenue.
Police Commission, please.
Number 5 is from Alderman Ayalon. Residents complain that ongoing lawlessness activities, including trespassing, loitering, and littering, is occurring at Corbin Avenue along City and Stanley Black and Decker property opposite Queen and Belmont Street, where AWP currently is conducting operations and storing equipment.
Police Commission, but I checked this one out. I drive by there twice a day while I'm on my way to pick up my daughter, and they had fiber optic cable that was on there. It's gone now. They were installing it on those streets. So I don't know if that's what the residents' concern was, but it's all moved. But I know. I'm just telling you. We'll send it to the Police Commission anyway.
Okay, thank you, Your Honor. Number 6 is signed by Alderman Smedley, sponsored by Alderman Hargraves for the appropriate departments to conduct a parking study to determine if restricting parking to one side of the street on Charles Street is feasible.
Police Commission, please.
Okay, number 7 is from Michael Frisbee, Noble New Britain LLC, to change the zone of parcel 4 of the recently approved record subdivision map prepared by Delta Surveying Services LLC dated November 15, 2022, and approved by the city plan on December 5, 2022, from the secondary business B3 zoning district to the garden apartments A1 zoning district as depicted on the attached map title, record zone change map prepared by Delta Surveying Services LLC dated December 12, 2022.
I would send that to the Zoning Commission, or Zoning Committee and City Plan.
Okay, and number 8 is from Alderwoman Costa for the appropriate departments to install no parking signs in front of 33 and 35 Norden Street.
Police Commission, please.
And that's it, Your Honor.
Thank you very much, Mr. Clerk. All right, consent agenda this evening. Alderman Smedley.
Thank you. I make a motion to accept the consent agenda of items A, B, D, E, H, I, J, M, N, O, P, Q, R, and S.
I have a second by Alderman Thompson. I missed half of that, so you're going to have to tell me what's coming off.
I got you.
Any questions or comments? Mr. Clerk?
For my clarification, what is off?
Okay. C, F, K, and L are off.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Okay. Alderpersons Dyson.
Yes.
Ayalon. Costa. Malinowski. Pabon. Rutkowski.
Yes.
Skirpo. Sagara. Thompson.
Yes.
Smedley.
Yes.
10-0, Your Honor.
Motion carries. Item C, Alderman Ayalon.
Thank you, Your Honor. Need my glasses on. I make a motion to accept item C,
Second.
I have a second from Alderman Smedley.
and I would like to invite Mallory, if she's here, or somebody to talk about this.
Unfortunately, their entire department right now is at the Love Wins Community Toy Drive.
Okay. Is there anybody who can talk about we gotta, to.
I can answer.
Update, yes, to update, tell the audience, I asked about homelessness and what kind of services, and we got some response about number of beds available in 3 locations and some overflow. But the question, of course, is, does it meet the needs? And some, perhaps we have some information about what are the needs this winter for homeless in New Britain.
So we have while I can't answer these questions, and if this is something that you'd like to speak with Mallory personally about when the toy drive is over is probably the best time for that. Can we ever officially meet the need all the time with the amount of available beds that we have? No, because we need significant amount of additional funding from the Department of Housing in order to properly address that. What helps during the cold weather months, Alderman, is definitely the supplemental funds that we get for cold weather, which this year we're going to be able to open up and additional beds, and we're very grateful for First Lutheran Church for opening up a space in their church to be able to put those beds in. I believe they're being ran by the Friendship. The shelter, the additional shelter for the cold weather months is being ran by the Friendship Center with the cold weather funding supplement that we are getting. But will it ever be enough? I don't know. It ebbs and flows, right? More people show up when it's cold, and then we don't hear from them. But what I can say is that what we do have is systems that we're putting in place so that this network of care is becoming a lot more robust. Next week, on December 21st, we're going to have the ribbon cutting at the Hope Connection Center, which is a new center that is a wonderful collaborative approach between all of our different provider organizations, including the city, South Church, the Friendship Service Center, Salvation Army, the list goes on, are basically spearheaded through our New Britain Recovers initiative. That's going to be a drop-in center so that anyone who is experiencing homelessness at any point during the day can go stop in at the Hope Connection Center, which will be fully staffed, and the individual will be able to be connected to the resources that they need at that moment in time. They're not going to have to wait for an appointment with 211, because what happens now is you tell people to call 211, they can't get an appointment for 3 days, and they're still living out in the cold. So this Hope Connection Center is hopefully going to be able to alleviate a lot of that gap in that timing.
Okay, are the people told about this new service, or are people, the homeless will know about it?
Absolutely, absolutely.
Thank you, and I urge adoption.
Thank you very much, Alderman. Any other questions or comments? All those in favor, please, I'm sorry, Alderman Segarra.
Yes, thank you very much, Mayor. I have a question. I would like to speak with the person that I was supposed to talk about this item here. I have several questions about the status of the homeless people here in New Britain. For example, are all these people residents of New Britain for a long time, or are they just people that show up because, we have the city provide them services? Like for example, and this is different from the homeless, but I don't know if a lot of you people know that New Britain is probably the capital of the perverts, in Connecticut, child molesters and that. And it's not because, something, of the people of New Britain. It's because somebody, some entity, put a center for perverts here in New Britain, and nobody knows about that. So anyway, I would like to speak with this person about the homeless issue. Thank you.
I would love to connect you with Mallory Dupre and Mary Floyd in our Community Services Office, who can help answer a lot of that for you, Alderman. Any other questions? All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Alderman Ayalon,
Yes,
item F.
I make a motion to accept item F.
Seconded by Alderman Smedley.
Okay, this item was about liens and how they managed, especially for water and sewer. And the report gives them, I did get links with all the liens that were given in last year, but no information about the attorneys. And we do have here tax serve as one, but not about the, so perhaps we can get more here on the floor, more information about, I understand that the attorneys are kind of rotating, but how does the city chooses which attorneys to use, which corporations, and who are they? So,
I
if
believe
somebody
that
can
I
speak
could-
about this.
Corporation Counsel Bizarro.
Good evening, everybody. Yes, hi, Alderman. So as that Director Perugini wrote in the report, and as you indicated, it's done on a rotating basis. So the charter allows me to appoint special assistant corporation counsels with the approval of the mayor. And so we've had, over the years that I've been corporation counsel, many lawyers who have asked, to be on the list. It's just an informal list to receive foreclosure assignments whenever they're available. And so, and I can give you some names of people that we've used, but right now there's no formal list. It's when those appointments are made, they're made by way of a letter that is signed by myself and by the mayor.
So if I could get a list of those from, at least from last year, so get some an idea. But also, when asked.
Sure, may I just interrupt you for a moment,
Yes.
Alderman? So the issue is, as Director Perugini wrote in the report, there were no assignments made in the past several years for foreclosure matters. The reason for that is because the process that we had adhered to for many years while I was corporation counsel was that at least every other year, sometimes once a year, depending on the volume of liens that we had, we would get a list from the water department, and then I would go through and I would make assignments. So for example, we'd have 10 or 12 lawyers, and every lawyer might get an assignment of 10 different properties to handle, something like that. But that was essentially the process that we followed for many years. In 2017, the council approved a contract with the entity called TaxServe, which is the collection agency that the city is still using to collect on water sewer liens and also other types of delinquencies. And so that was in 2017. So there was a few years where we didn't do any assignments. In or about 2019, I think the contract with TaxServe expired early or mid 2020. So in or about 2019, there was a new list that was prepared by the water department, is my recollection. It came to my office, and when we were ready to make those assignments for foreclosure, COVID hit. And so for 2020 and 2021, frankly, nothing was assigned. Collection efforts were ongoing, but nothing was assigned to foreclosure. So there was no foreclosure matter that was actually filed. Nobody filed any actions because there was the moratorium issued by the state, which municipality adopted, and there was just an informal policy that the administration wanted to adhere to give our residents some relief. So there was nothing that was assigned for 2 years. The 2022 list was recently prepared, and nothing has been assigned yet because of the sheer volume. We're now backed up, and so the manpower that it's going to take to get everything rectified and sorted and assigned, we just haven't been able to do it yet. But that's on the radar for the next several months.
So what I hear you saying is that we're currently not collecting any
Not,
liens?
I don't want you to confuse the word collecting with the foreclosure. So
Okay.
what happens is, for example, an account might be collected on by either TaxServe or a local attorney.
Right.
The collection effort would consist of, presumably, I can't speak for TaxServe, but I would presume that they would send out a collection letter. They may telephone the property owner, things of that nature, things that you would associate with normal collection activities. That's the collection part of it. To the extent that TaxServe is unable to actually collect any money and remit money to the city, then it's put into the same bucket as the other files that are, the next step is, we've been unsuccessful with collection efforts, we're going to commence a foreclosure action, which is a legal court action that's begun. And so those collection efforts are still ongoing, and homeowners or property owners might receive letters, but there haven't been any foreclosure matters filed with the court. So no complaints have been served on people, for the most part. I say for the most part because, as you will see in the report, there are some limited exceptions to that. There have been some cases over the last couple of years, notwithstanding COVID, where various reasons there may be, for example, a really egregious account, or there may be a property that has other things going on and we want to be a little more aggressive in our enforcement actions. So there have been some exceptions over the last couple of years, but for the most part, I think what you're referring to, there has been basically, moratorium on actual foreclosure matters.
Foreclosures, okay.
Yes.
So if I understand, the Corporation Counsel, or the number of attorney we have here is very minimal, right? We have now maybe, besides you as part-time?
Myself and two others, yes.
Two others. So we are definitely not equipped to handle all this volume of, right?
We never have been. During my first term as Corporation Counsel, I had 4 full-time lawyers, 3 paralegals, and myself, and even then, we never did it. This has been a process that predates my tenure as Corporation Counsel. It was always done this way. The charter contemplates that process, and that's why that charter provision allows me to make those appointments using outside lawyers.
Okay, so that's why I'm asking is, these lawyers that are used, so it will be helpful to get a list, so we get an idea which lawyers are in this. But another thing I didn't really get an answer is how much the ones that owe money, how much they have to pay extra for the lawyers or the taxer or and the response I got is that it depends on that lawyer or that company, and is that arbitrary? They can take 5%, they can take 50%, or?
No, I don't, so, a couple things. One is, I think there was a response in the petition, in the report, rather. TaxServe charges a flat collection fee of 15%, but that is not taken from the principal balance. That is added to the outstanding principal balance. And the statutes permit any collection agency to do that. So if somebody owes $100, it's going to be $115 with the collection fee. The attorneys, if they are filing a foreclosure matter, again, whether it's gone through TaxServe first or not, when a court action is filed, attorneys bill hourly. And that's why we do everything we can to avoid the actual foreclosure process, because it's an hourly rate. The fees add up significantly. Now, those fees are standard. They are, the attorneys will charge them. And it's not just the fees, it's the costs. The court costs on a foreclosure matter will easily match, if not exceed, the amount of legal fees that are incurred. So generally speaking, and the reason why, it's not that it's arbitrary, the reason why it varies is because it depends how long the action goes. So if it's resolved after a complaint is filed, and an attorney only has 4 hours in, well, then the fee might be, well under $1,000. If, on the other hand, it goes all the way through to foreclosure, with the costs and fees, it could be $6,000 or $7,000.
Okay, so I guess if I can, based on our conversation, if I get a little more information about the attorneys that are used informally, I think that will be helpful to clarify what our residents are facing when they get a big water bill or a sewer bill, and perhaps it can give them an idea how to save money on this, on how to deal with that better. All right,
Sure,
thank you.
Be happy to.
Thank you. Any additional questions, comments?
Mayor, if I could just add, shout out to Jonathan Perugini of the Finance Department and the entire Corporation Counsel Department, which pretty much worked nonstop on responding to this one petition for 2 straight days.
Any other questions or comments? All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Item K, Alderman Ayalon.
I make a motion to accept item K.
I have a second by Alderman Smedley.
So, to give the information to the public, you know, again, reminding everybody that in February, we voted on providing remote participation for our public. And here we are in December and not yet available. The response I got is that only in October they put a bidding process, while the story was that we were, throughout the months that I asked IT, was that they're missing some cables. Mike, I have several questions for Mr. Delgadillo. Why haven't we used the existing technology we have for until we get a better technology? Because during the COVID, we didn't have remote participation, and we still have that technology. And number two, why did it take, I mean, a city that does bidding all the time, why did it take so long until October to have a bid? Well, good evening.
Through you, Mayor. Thank you, Alderman. So, like the report says, this is a technology that actually is very new to the whole, you know, this type of settings, the Common Council settings. Granicus never really had any sort of wireless participation ability. The program we did use before was actually 3 different programs with 3 licenses. And Alderman, I know you were involved with those meetings, but I can't agree to say that those were subpar to what me and our department want to provide ultimately to the city of New Brand residents to be able to properly participate. We had lag, you had echoing, you had the inability to really communicate with the public during those call-ins. Yeah, it got us by, and it was necessary at that time. But going forward, we're looking for an overall, you know, overhaul of having that type of software and equipment here to make it work. Now, I don't know, anybody here could tell you that equipment lead times are significant. So even getting a contractor to communicate back to you nowadays, getting a roofer, electrician, mechanical, it's months. It's literally months. I can't even get a guy to come quote me for work, and I'm trying to give them work. It's that bad right now in the economy we are in. So first step was us, you know, vetting and making sure we know what we want here, right? We need to know what we have here, what's going to make most sense long-term for the city. We're not going to just dump money into a program. So the 3 programs we were using existing had software licenses. Those expired. So instead of spending money on those again, which wasn't the right idea because they were subpar to what we really want to provide to the city council and our residents, we decided to vet other programs, which takes months on end to get back from the consultant, set up a Zoom, meet them, you know, take on questions, see the presentation, et cetera. So that takes time. We finally got a contractor in here. He had a wiring. What you understand, this is actually built above the vault, all right? So the vault that protects all city land records, birth certificates, all that stuff is built underneath this space. So it's not just, you know, pop a ceiling tile and able to run some wire to get anything in this space. It's nearly impossible to run any wire in this place. And that's why all the stuff you see here now is pretty difficult to get. And that's why it's been multiple times getting, you know, up on TV, getting up on Facebook and social media and all those implementations. It's not easy. So that is what took us some time to get to that point. And I'll tell you right now, the IT staff has been pretty short-staffed between everything that's been going on. All the departments are still trying to catch up, and you know, we had a mass exodus, obviously, in city personnel during the June time, and we're still trying to catch up to that. But the equipment is ordered. We really do foresee it being here within the next few council meetings for sure. The wiring has been relocated to the proper locations that it needs to be. Again, it's all dedicated wiring. It can't cross-interfere with our microphones. It can't cross-interfere with our cell phones. It can't cross-interfere with our computers. So it's very complicated stuff. And again, it just takes time to get these type of things going.
So follow up to this, just you mentioned that you're understaffed. So can you give us a little more information about where the IT stands, and is there any plans to hire more people?
We just hired, we have, you know, one person that just got hired and almost completed probation. And then we have another person that was just newly hired, and he's in the beginning few months of just getting here. And when you come to a city from the outside world, we have a large variety of services that our IT department provides. We're from the water department to the health department to city hall. So we're all over the place. There's a lot of different systems that everybody has, a lot of new softwares, a lot of new programs. You guys have approved them yourselves. So there's a lot going on here, but we're working diligently to make sure that this is implemented.
So how many staff is there in IT, and are we going to add more?
We have 4 current full-time staff in the IT department. There's no vision to earn more. The problem is we had 2 staff members that were here for a very long time that knew everything that was going on here. Losing those 2 at the same exact time really hurt the department, and now we have 2 new good employees that are looking forward to working long-term here in the city and learning more, but there's the learning curve. So they have to learn everything going on here to fully succeed and get the department fully operational back to the standards that we hope it to be.
Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Delegate Dilio. Thank you.
Your Honor.
Alderwoman Costa.
Mr. Duggadil, thank you for the explanation. I suspect if we can set some expectations for Alderman Ayalon, the petitions will stop coming through. Can you give us a timeline when this would be complete?
So
Approximately is even helpful, but as long as we have an expectation set, I think it helps as we move these conversations forward.
I definitely, like I said, I definitely expect it to be within the next 2 to 4 council meetings
January,
installed.
February?
Correct.
Okay, that's fair. Thank you.
Any other questions or comments? All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Item L, Alderman Ayalon.
I make a motion to accept item L. And acceptance, it was a brief, just if somebody can tell us, we had a long list of people who had some injuries, and so just to clarify this, I already got the answer, but I might as well make it public.
Right.
Mr.
Dorsey, go ahead.
Yes, Alderman, as I spoke to you on the phone at length about this the other day, the reason that this list of claimants is longer than normal is there's one attorney that's representing multiple residents of one household in different suits, and I can't elaborate more publicly on that. You know that.
All right. Thank you very much, and I urge adoption.
All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Resolution number 1, Alderman Malinowski.
Thank you, Your Honor. I make a motion to accept and adopt item number 1.
Seconded by Alderman Smedley.
And this is one of several resolutions tonight dealing with accessory dwelling units. This one amends the Code of Ordinances and adds a whole bunch of text about accessory dwelling units. And I urge adoption.
Thank you very much, Alderman. I'm sure this was discussed at length in committee. Any follow-up questions or comments? This has to do also with the second resolution and another resolution later on the agenda. Seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Resolution number 2, Alderman Malinowski.
Thank you, Your Honor. I make a motion to accept and adopt item 2.
Seconded by Alderman Thompson.
Yet another section, resolution about accessory dwelling units. This is to add chapter 25 to our Code of Ordinances and define the accessory dwelling units. And I urge adoption.
Thank you very much, sir. Are there any questions or comments regarding this item? Seeing and hearing none, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Alderman Smedley, number 3.
Thank you. I make a motion to accept and adopt item number 3.
Seconded by Alderman Thompson.
Thank you. The intent and purpose of this resolution is to amend section 14-394 and 14-395 of the Code of Ordinances to amend the filing process for a dealer/repair certificate of location license due to filing requirements at the Connecticut Department of Motor Vehicles. It's language changes. Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you very much, Alderman Smedley. All of this in accordance with the Connecticut general statutes that have changed, and we must do this to be in compliance with them. Any questions or comments? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Alderwoman Costa, resolution number 4.
Thank you, Your Honor. I make a motion to accept and adopt item number 4.
Second.
Seconded by Alderman Smedley.
Thank you. The purpose of this resolution is to amend the Code of Ordinances to move the Art Commission from Section 2-584 to Section 2-331, and to modify the Art Commission's duties, and to amend Section 19 through 20 to remove duties from the City Plan Commission, and I urge adoption.
Thank you very much, Alderwoman. I'd also like to take a moment to thank the members of our Arts Commission for the great work that they do, and their administrator, Brock Weber, who's here tonight. Thank you. Any questions or comments? All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Alderman Rutkowski, sorry.
Thank you, Your Honor. Appreciate that. I make a motion to accept item number 5.
Seconded by Alderman Smedley.
This is an acceptance of a permanent easement from the Archive Financial Credit Union for the Beeline Trail Phase 2 project, and I urge adoption.
Thank you very much, Alderman Rutkowski.
Thank you, Your Honor. I just want to make it real quick. The Beeline Trail is a multi-use trail which is planned to connect the Connecticut Fast Track Multi-Use Trail downtown New Britain to the Farmington Canal Heritage Site. I can't personally wait. And this easement from the financial credit union is going to allow us to save a lot of money by avoiding to put a big retaining wall. Basically, we're going to use their property instead of putting up a retaining wall, and I urge adoption. Thank you.
Thank you, Alderman. Any questions or comments? All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Alderman Smedley.
Thank you, Your Honor. I make a motion to accept and adopt item number 6.
I have a second from Alderman Pabon.
Thank you. The intent and purpose of this resolution is to revise Chapter 14, Article 10 of our Code of Ordinances for itinerant vending within the city and establish designated food truck and itinerant vending locations. This resolution has some language changes. It adds a fee schedule for the itinerant vending and amends some of the existing fees. We're adding 7 green zones for these itinerant vendors to occupy, and it updates the rules and regulations based on those zones. I do believe Caleb Cowles is here. I saw him walk in the room if there are any questions.
All right. Thank you, Alderman Smedley. Any questions or comments on expanding our food truck permit areas? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. Alderman Smedley.
Thank you, Your Honor. I make a motion to accept and adopt item number 7.
Seconded by Alderman Malinowski.
Thank you. We rejoice with our families during the holiday season, and this is the time of year when we reflect on traditional values and what is truly worthwhile in our lives. And our families and friends gather to reflect on the past year and look forward with hope to the new year. Now, therefore, be resolved by the Common Council of the City of New Britain that the Common Council expresses its sincerest wish for a holiday of peace, love, hope, joy, and happiness, and a happy, healthy, prosperous new year to all citizens of New Britain. Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you. Any additional comments? All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Alderman Smedley.
Thank you, Your Honor. Make a motion to accept and adopt item number 8.
Seconded by Alderman Thompson.
This resolution is recognition of December as Human Rights Month. And just some points of information from the resolution. On December 10th, 1948, the United States General Assembly, comprised of representatives from different legal and cultural backgrounds, adopted the Universal Declaration of Human Rights to identify common rights and freedoms for all people of all nations. The Declaration bans slavery, declares the equality of all under the law, bans torture and cruel, inhumane, or degrading treatment, prohibits arbitrary arrest, confinement, or exile, and declares a universal right to an education, a right to free association, a right to work, and a right to participatory government. I do urge adoption. Sorry.
Thank you, Alderman Smedley. Any questions or comments? All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Alderman Malinowski, resolution number 9.
I make a motion to accept and adopt item 9.
Seconded by Alderman Thompson.
All right, this is our last accessory dwelling unit one. The Connecticut General Statutes, as of January 1st, is going to have their own language pursuant to accessory dwelling units, and this allows us to opt out because we just adopted those 2 earlier resolutions of our own definitions of accessory dwelling units. And I urge adoption.
Thank you, Alderman. Any questions or comments? All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. 10 to go, guys. Alderman Malinowski.
I make a motion to accept and adopt item 10.
Seconded by Alderman Smedley.
And this is for the purchase of several lifts for the fire department. The fire department's lifts are condemned, so they're unable to lift up their fire trucks to do maintenance, so it's been sent out. And it is in the total cost for the whole project of $113,955.67, and I urge adoption.
Thank you very much. Alderman Malinowski. This is the equipment, just to be clear, the equipment that's purchased here is going to be built and installed in the new Public Works facility where the fire department will now be able to do their proper maintenance from. Any questions or comments? All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Alderman Thompson.
Yes, thank you. Through you, Your Honor. I make a motion to accept and adopt item number 11.
Seconded by Alderman Smedley.
Hey, thank you. This is to provide a new 2022 Ford Explorer for the fire department and replace a 2006 Expedition. The Expedition has tons of use on it. It needs to be replaced. It's getting hard to get parts, and the Explorer is a much more efficient vehicle and will last them a long time. So I urge adoption.
Thank you very much, Alderman Thompson. Any questions or comments on this? All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Alderman Dyson.
Thank you, Your Honor. I make a motion to accept and adopt item number 12.
I have a second by Alderman Pabon.
Thank you. This is to accept and approve a grant from the Department of Transportation Federal Highway Safety Funds in the amount of $119,618.40 to the Police Department for overtime to target those that choose to drive under the influence, making our streets safer, and I certainly urge adoption.
Thank you very much, Alderman Dyson. Are there any questions or comments on this item? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Alderman Dyson, number 13.
Thank you, Your Honor. Maybe the next we'll get the speeders. Make a motion to accept and adopt item number 13.
Seconded by Alderman Smedley.
All right, thank you, Your Honor. This is to approve the purchase of pistol and rifle ammunition under the State Cooperation Purchase Plan. The amount is $36,168 from Jurek Brothers. This ammunition is used for training and duty carry on a daily basis, and the funds are in the Police Department budget, and I urge adoption.
Thank you very much, Alderman. Are there any questions on this item? All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Alderman Pabon, resolution number 14. Thank you.
I make a motion to accept item number 14.
Second.
Second by Alderman Ayalon.
Okay, this is for the police department for $64,165 to Watermill Public Safety Group for holster pistol mounting optics. This is a piece that's gonna go on top of their existing weapons. It's like I guess it's like the ones you see on TV. You got a little red dot. Wherever you see the dot, the bullet goes. And I urge adoption.
Thank you very much, Alderman Pabon. Any questions or comments on this? Seconded by Alderman Ayalon. Thank you. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Alderman Pabon, resolution number 15, kind of goes with the previous.
Thank you, Mayor. I'll make a motion to accept and adopt item number 15.
Seconded by Alderman Dyson.
Okay, this is to create a purchase order for $26,820 to Watermill Public Safety Group for the Safari Land holster. This is with the other part of this, the police department's gonna need a holster, so this unit can fit into it. And I hear that the police department in Bristol, when they took down that guy that shot those other officers, they had this device, and I urge adoption.
Thank you very much, Alderman Pabon. Any other questions or comments? Alderman Pabon is correct. One of the conversations that Chief Shute and I had in the following hours after the horrible incident that happened in Bristol was what can we do to protect our officers, and this was a suggestion as a part of that conversation. And I hope that the added equipment, which is oftentimes only found in members of a SWAT team, is welcomed, and we're grateful to have it. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Alderwoman Costa.
Thank you, Your Honor. I make a motion to accept and adopt item number 16.
Seconded by Alderman Smedley.
This is a budget appropriation for the Recreation and Community Services Department. Very valuable. Every Kid Counts After School program. We'd like to approve the extended school hours grant funds in the amount of $111,000 to cover the costs associated with the proposed programming strategy for the period of September 2022 through June 2023, and I always urge adoption.
Thank you, Alderwoman. Any questions or comments on this budget amendment? All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Alderman Rutkowski, resolution number 17.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I make a motion to accept and adopt item number 17.
Seconded by Alderman Thompson.
This is $44,000 to Fuss and O'Neill for Route 174 and the East Street Needs and Deficiency Study. And this is basically a traffic study, what we can do with that intersection, and I urge adoption.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Madam Mayor.
Any questions or comments on that? All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Alderman Rutkowski.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I make a motion to accept and adopt item number 18.
Seconded by Alderman Smedley.
This is a $22,000 bid to VHB for the traffic signal design and John Downey Drive roadway and pedestrian improvement project, and I urge adoption.
Thank you.
Because God knows we need it.
How fast can they get this one done? I know. Any questions or comments on this one? This goes along. Alderman Island.
Can somebody give a more description what's involved in this project? I think it's important for the residents who live around Downey Street to hear. Thank you, Mr.
Are you
Moriarty.
asking for a description on the item of the resolution in regards to, or on the entire local transportation capital improvement program project for John Downey Drive? Two
Maybe
different
both.
things.
A little
Okay.
bit. A little
Okay.
bit of both.
Mr. Moriarty, please.
Sure. We got a lot SIP grant a couple years ago to redo John Downey Drive. It will narrow it from 48 feet to 32 feet. Put new sidewalks in where there are existing sidewalks. There's actually going to do a multi-use trail along the length of the east side of the road. Some street trees, should be happy about. So it's a significant facelift for that road, and it just constructs it like it should be. We think it's going to be a really good complement to the businesses out there. This particular resolution, so early on, our application did not include replacing the traffic signal. You have a maximum amount actually that you could submit, and we're already at the maximum. But after the fact, we did a traffic study, and it was, it's clear that traffic signal needed to be replaced. We got approval to add that to the project, so we got additional funding to add replacing that signal to the project. But with the LASA program, we're in charge of the design costs. So the resolution is covering our portion of the design costs.
Mm-hmm. And what is the timeline for completing this project?
Okay, so we're finalizing preliminary design within the next week or so. We'll have a public information meeting, hopefully in January. Probably will be out to bid either late next fall, and it'll end up being a 2024 construction project.
Okay, so done by 2024, sometimes in 2024.
I would like to think it would be a one-year project. I mean, it could go into 2025, but our plan is for a 2024 construction project and hopefully done by the end of 2024.
So by the end, what we will see in Downey Street would be new sidewalks on both sides, right? And
sidewalk
He
on
told
one
you it would
side.
be a
And
sidewalk
trees
on
and-
one side and a multi-use trail on the other.
multi-trail on the other one.
That's
Okay.
Yep.
All right. Thank you very much.
No problem.
Thank you, Mr. Moriarty.
Yep, thank you.
Any other questions? All those in favor signify by saying aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Alderman Dyson.
Thank you, Your Honor. I make a motion to accept and adopt item number 19.
Seconded by Alderman Pabon.
Thank you. This is to approve the purchase order for $47,500 to Comprehensive Environmental Incorporation for the finalization of the outstanding items in the Connecticut General Permit of the discharge of stormwater from small municipal separate storm sewer systems, MS4, to be completed by June 30th, 2023 for the Public Works Department Utilities Division. And the scope of the services includes illicit discharge investigations, inventory and tracking, and annual report assistance. as well as assistance to complete the expanded requirements related to the impaired waters investigation and monitoring, and I urge adoption.
Thank you very much, Alderman Dyson. There's also an addition to this which details out from CEI their scope of services with their assistance with this MS4 compliance attached to the resolution for your reading pleasure. Any questions or comments? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Up next, Alderman Rutkowski.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I make a motion to accept and adopt item number 20.
I have a second by Alderman Smedley.
This is a budget amendment for the Public Works Department. This is regarding the budget for the Stanley Loop Trail Phase 2, the state project big number 88-195, and I urge adoption.
Thank you very much, Alderman Rutkowski. This is just a change or an increase in the budget in order to complete the Stanley Loop Trail Phase 2 project of $190,400. Any questions or comments on this? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Alderman Rutkowski.
Thank you, Your Honor. I make a motion to accept and adopt item number 21.
Seconded by Alderman Thompson.
This is $25,000 to NY Con Corporation for installation of a temporary traffic signal at the South Street, Rocky Hill Avenue, and Roosevelt Street intersection, and I urge adoption.
Thank you, Alderman Rutkowski. Any questions or comments on this? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Alderman Malinowski.
Thank you, Your Honor. I make a motion to accept and adopt item 22.
Seconded by Alderman Thompson.
All right, and this is for $50,000 to CDM Smith for on-call engineering services, which involves testing of the Shuttle Meadow Reservoir for toxicity, and then coming up with a plan, if there is toxicity, on how to reduce it and get rid of it, and I urge adoption.
Very nice summary. Thank you. Any questions or comments? All those, Alderman Ayalon?
I'd like to hear more detail, but also to thank our Director of Water Department for the magnificent tour he gave me and our administrator Monday. So thank you for the tour. I learned a lot. So can you give us a little more background on this?
Yes. The water treatment plant has 2 permits that are monitored and issued by the Department of Environmental Protection. And we have to adhere to certain testing requirements, and we've been having trouble passing one requirement significantly, and it's been very difficult to manage this. I rely on CDM's experts in this field to help me come up with a solution for this. It has to do with, of all things, a type of, for lack of a better term, sand flea, a water flea, that periodically has to be tested for. We take samples of our water that we send back to the reservoir, and there's a survival rate, and we are failing the survival rate. So we are under the eye of the DEP to fix this problem. So that's regarding that. We also have a permit that we have to adhere to when we discharge to our own sewer system, which we need help also on. That has just been approved, and we have to set up the monitoring and scheduling and all the other testing that's required for that.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Any additional questions? Thank you. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Alderman Skirpo?
Good evening.
Hello.
Make a motion to accept and adopt item number 23.
Seconded by Alderwoman Costa.
Tax abatements, corrections, and refunds. My assumption on this is that it is a normal course of business that we do from time to time, I'm assuming yearly, and I urge adoption.
Thank you very much, Alderman Skirpo. Any questions or comments on this? Seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Alderman Smedley.
Thank you, Your Honor. I make a motion to accept item 24 and refer to the City Plan Commission and Zoning Subcommittee.
I have a second from Alderman Thompson.
Thank you. This is related to city street acceptance of Kennedy Drive as being fully conveyed as a street for the city of New Britain, and this will be discussed in the commission and committee level.
Thank you very much. Any questions or comments on the referral? All those in favor signify by saying aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Alderman Smedley.
Thank you, Your Honor. I make a motion to accept item 25 and refer to the Committee on Administration, Finance, and Law.
I have a second by Alderwoman Costa.
Thank you. This is a request for a tax assessment modification and agreement for 480 Myrtle Street with Avon Towers LLC. They are in the, I can't think of the name of it right now. Enterprise Zone, thank you. And they are entitled to benefit from that, and we will discuss it at the committee level. Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you. Questions or comments on the referral? All those in favor signify by saying aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Alderman Smedley.
Thank you, Your Honor. I make a motion to accept and adopt Resolution 26.
Seconded by Alderman Thompson.
Thank you, Your Honor. This is related to virtual net metering credit agreement to utilize a 2-megawatt solar project in Ellington, Connecticut to furnish some relief for our electric bills. We've been given the opportunity for this to partner with a solar field located within our utility territory constructed by C-Tech Solar and Onyx Renewable Partners. We are hoping to gain a virtual net metering credit of about 10%, which will obviously result in significant savings as the electric bills continue to rise. And this is for a 20-year term, and I do urge adoption. Anything to save us money on electricity.
Thank you very much, Alderman Smedley. Unfortunately, we can't get this for our homes, can we?
Nope.
Oh, all right. It was a good try.
the lights off.
Any other questions or comments? Alderman Ayalon?
No, I just want to make a comment that I'm encouraged to see the more we have alternative energy, the better. I also found out that our water department has, I believe, has solar panels there that cover, especially in the summer, cover a significant amount of the energy that this huge operation offers. So I urge more adoptions of those.
Alderman Smedley?
Thank you. I also just want to, many people may forget about the amount of solar that we actually have besides the very large installation at the water department. Our city parking garages have some solar installations. I have 4 school buildings with solar installations. We have a fuel cell, and we participate in the regular energy efficiency retrofit programs with Eversource in all of our school buildings and city buildings as well. Thank you, Your Honor.
Any other questions or comments? All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Alderman Dyson.
Thank you, Your Honor. I make a motion to accept and adopt item number 27.
Seconded by Alderman Pabon.
Thank you. This is to approve the purchase order of $30,000 to OFI of Newington for purchase of new furniture for the new health department building as well as the existing senior center. Funding is available through the health department's budget, and I know this furniture would be very welcome for both facilities, and it's kind of seedy looking, so I urge adoption. It's time.
Thank you, Alderman Dyson. Can't have a new health department without new exam tables, can you? Any questions or comments? All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Alderman Smedley.
Thank you, Your Honor. I make a motion to accept and adopt item 28.
Seconded by Alderman Thompson.
Thank you. The existing IT exchange system is well past its life expectancy, and that's pretty much the email and file storage system that our city and all departments use. It's also no longer supported by the manufacturer. The new system will transition City Hall users to the city's 2016 Microsoft Exchange and Office accounts to a Google Workspace. New Google Workspace will include all emails, calendars, and history currently in the city's Exchange accounts. And this was a project that was bid out. There was 2 responses, and the most responsible bidder was selected. I do urge adoption. Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you very much. I am going to ask for this one for John Delgadillo to come up and just give everyone just a little bit of a summary on what's going to happen here, because this is a massive change for everyone.
All right, thank you, Mayor, through you. Yes, this is a massive change, obviously. Microsoft actually went to a different model where it's a subscription model. It's called Microsoft 365. So I'm sure everybody at home has Microsoft Word 2010, 2006, 16, whatever year you guys have. So those are no longer supported by Microsoft. Those are all being now being blacklisted, and now you're going towards a Microsoft 360, which is a yearly renewable licensing model. That price for a city of our size to take on those services would actually be double, if not more, than what was proposed once we met with Google, with all the Google-related, internet exchange, or not internet, Outlook exchange, all those type of programs that Google's looking to provide, is about half of what it would cost us to do Microsoft. So us trying to be a fiscally responsible city, we felt that Google was the best option for the city to move towards. The school board also utilizes Google. A lot of other municipalities and other larger corporations use Google because of its open platform, ability to work, with each other without having that integration necessarily on a server, but actually through the cloud. It's really going to provide a lot more options for city personnel. And like I said, it's really just, it's going to move us to a different direction, 21st century, and it helps a lot with saving money.
Thank you.
And I do have Google, representative from Google here, and also representative as part of the vendor team. Should you have any related questions to them, they are from out of state, but they did attend.
Alderman Ayalon.
Thank you. Can you elaborate, what does it give besides email or Gmail? What other services are the employees going to get for $140,000 a year? Is that a 5-year contract?
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, we propose a 5-year contract agreement, correct.
Yeah, maybe we can hear more detail.
Yep.
Hello, good evening.
Hey, Chase Foster from Google. We have Dido, who is our implementation partner here. So there's two pieces to this. The first piece is the implementation, which is done by Dido. The second piece is the actual software licenses, which you're paying through with Google. What's included in Workspace is email, all of our collaboration tools. So if you're familiar with Google Drive, done in an enterprise secure version versus what you use personally. Meet, so Meet and Chat. So Chat kind of replaces Slack if you're familiar with that. Meet replaces Microsoft Teams or Zoom if you're familiar with that. So it's all, there's a lot of items to it, but you're actually getting cost displacement through some of these just other items that are bundled into Workspace.
So how is it more secure than in private Gmail that I have or anybody else?
Yep, so we use a zero trust architecture, which I know is a technical term, but what it requires is just all kind of authentication, checkpoints, and making sure that only authenticated users are able to log into that environment. And yeah, it's we mentioned earlier that it's cloud owned. We actually can't access the data. Only your city is able to access it.
And you said there's like a Zoom-like, there's is that it will enable, with this kind of, can we have a meeting here with a Zoom, like committees or other kind of things that we can use this for those, or this is just for individual use, kind of?
Can you rephrase that? You're asking if each member will have access?
I'm saying employees, city employees, and maybe the city council. I don't know. I'm just curious.
Yes, so, as discussed, right, Alderman, we had some issues with the resolution. It's all based on the amount of users, and yes, every user will have the Google platform to utilize, and it's part of the Workspace enterprise licenses that we're going to purchase. That is all included per user, correct?
So if, for example, if the city decides to say, the Common Council, especially if we have emergency or something, to have a meeting on a Zoom-like kind of under, can we do we have the facility, the platform that will accommodate for that in this, what we're purchasing here?
I don't believe that that's the type of use we're looking to do with this. It's more for interaction, like Zoom. You're not going to get much more than what you get from Zoom than what you get from here. So it's
Okay,
it's
the
not
same
that
kind of
it's not
thing.
such an open platform. No,
All right.
you'd have to rely more on our social media feeds feeding the live council meetings. That would be a better use.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Alderman Smedley?
Thank you, Your Honor. I'm very impressed that Google is here. I have so many questions. Do we have to change the flux capacitor, or can it remain as is?
Remain as is.
No, I just wanted to say that we use the Google platform in the school district, and there's an immense amount of tools that come with the Google suite. There's the Google Docs, Google Sheets, Google Slides, which is Word, Excel, and presentations, PowerPoint, excuse me, thank you. There's also other options, Google Forms to create surveys with, and it just makes sharing information across the Google platform so much easier. You literally click share, you type the email address, and then they have access to it. And then you can even dig right down to who has access to see what files in your drive. It's just a much easier, smoother platform for sharing. So it'll make City Hall operations much more smoother.
I can't wait to actually collaborate on like Google Sheet so that you don't have to send back and track the changes and follow all that stuff, because I cannot do that. Alderman Ayalon?
A follow-up question, are you going to give a workshop to city employees about the possibilities that are available to?
Yes.
And how to use them and?
Yes, of course. No, there'd be multiple training opportunities provided, hopefully with partnerships with the community services department, some lunch and learns for city personnel. It's going to obviously be a learning curve, but yes, that's obviously the plan.
So is it Google provides those workshops, or?
Per the professional services that Datto and Carasoft is going to be providing, that is included in part of the training and implementing the migration of the information.
All right, thank you.
Any additional questions? Thank you, gentlemen. I hope you enjoyed your evening here.
Thank you.
We're looking forward to it. Thank you. Any other questions or comments? All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Resolution number 29.
Thank you, Your Honor. I make a motion to accept item 29 and refer to the Committee on Planning, Zoning, and Housing.
Seconded by Alderman Thompson.
Thank you, Your Honor. This resolution is the donation of 2045 Stanley Street. Bakar Associates is the owner of the property with a parcel total land of 0.7 acres and has contacted the city and offered to donate the real property as it is adjacent to Stanley Golf Course. We are interested, obviously, in obtaining this parcel of land because it is adjacent to our golf course. The municipal taxes are current. And I do urge referral and adoption eventually on this property.
Thank you very much. Any questions or comments on the referral? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Motion to adjourn.
Made by Alderman Rakowski, seconded by Alderman Malinowski. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
We are adjourned. The time is 8:41 p.m. Have a wonderful holiday. Merry Christmas. Happy Hanukkah. Happy Kwanzaa. Happy New Year. See you guys. Good night.
Yeah, right.
See you Saturday.
Merry Christmas. Feliz Navidad. Wesołych świąt. Wesołych świąt. Wesołych świąt. Okej. Nie ma za co. Po całym dzień.
I have 2 extra boxes of cookies. Oh boy, I guess I'll have to lay in bed and eat them.
Oh, God.
Shucks.
The misery.
Oh, man.
The hard.